There are 4 components in symbolic modelling: clean language, metaphor, modelling, and outcome orientation. Taken together, these enable a facilitator to model symbolically and to facilitate clients cleanly. On any introduction to clean language, you're going to be given 8 or 12 of the basic clean language questions. 30 years after we first saw David Grove, these exact same questions still form the core of all that we do. So how is it that we and others are able to facilitate clients to experience such transformative changes with so few questions? How can something so apparently restrictive facilitate clients to be so creative? How does less become more?
Working cleanly involves more than just asking clean language questions. For a start, we call our approach symbolic modeling because first and foremost, it's a modeling methodology. In our approach, change is not a step in a technique. It's not even the aim of the process. In symbolic modeling, change happens spontaneously as an organic byproduct of facilitating the client to self-model the structure and logic of their own unique symbolic and metaphoric world. Symbolic modeling doesn't simply recapitulate what David Grove was doing. We included the latest developments in cognitive linguistics, self-organizing systems theory, and evolutionary dynamics to give our approach a solid theoretical underpinning and a wide remit.
Early in his career, David Grove discovered that people's inner worlds, their mind-body maps, are fundamentally metaphoric in nature and have their own coherent logic. This was revolutionary in the early 1980s, and it still is today. It's rarely appreciated that people commonly use 6 metaphors a minute, even in everyday conversations. Mostly these metaphors are not recognized as such, and those that are easily recognized are often highly idiosyncratic. For example, on TV recently, I saw the athlete Tahani Seagrave describe the effects of a concussion, and she said, "It was like I was drowning. My whole body was just underwater and I just had enough air to breathe." And she did this. She was enacting her metaphor. David discovered that personal metaphors do not respond well to leading questions. Those are the questions that attempt to reframe or change the client's experience or otherwise suggest an answer. So whether intentional or not, leading questions introduce the coach or the therapist's beliefs, their values, their presuppositions. However, something special happens if you only ask clean language questions of the client's metaphors.
And finally, the 4th component of symbolic modeling is a particular kind of outcome orientation that James and I brought to the field after modeling expert therapists who worked bottom up, such as David Grove, Steve DeShazer, Robert Dill, Steve Andreas, and ourselves. We see outcome orientation as a continual process that uses the client's desires, wants, would likes, and needs as a dynamic reference point, which act as beacons or signposts for a process that doesn't know where it is going to end up. We also borrowed from the work of Robert Fritz and Paul Václavic to create our problem remedy outcome model, which is now being used not only in change work, but also to keep business meetings on track, in education, and in many other contexts.
We think having a working knowledge of any of these components, clean language, metaphor, modeling, or outcome orientation, will enhance whatever type of coaching or therapy you do. So join us in person or via video link for the Masterclass at the London ANLP Conference and find out more.